We got our own Clika. Strong Clika.
Clika. Clika. Clika. That's all we got is Clika. Clika. Clika.
Can you respect?
Welcome to Clika Podcast.
La Clika. Not fucking.
Welcome to La Clika Podcast.
Wait, what did he say earlier?
He always says La Clika.
La Clika.
You're not in Paris.
I kind of like that.
Oh, like one word, kind of.
Yeah, La Clika.
Like one word, you know, like our hashtag.
He's fucking French like that.
La Clika.
It's starting a hashtag. So
Today,
Start over, dude.
welcome to La Clika Podcast.
Say one more time. La Clika.
Welcome to La Clika Podcast. And we are half. Okay, let me start over again. We are half. You guys fucked me up. You know, the thumbs up. You know what? The thumbs up. You know, the thumbs up got me some ego tripping. So I was like,
He's the one not drinking, dude.
and I'm the one not drinking. Yeah.
See, it's that Pepsi, dog. You should have gone with the Shasta.
Yeah, way too much sugar.
I think I need a bump of
You need a bump?
Schneeberg. I need a bump of Schneeberg. Okay, welcome to Clika Podcast. We have Midnight Motos with us. How you guys doing?
Good, man. Thanks for having
Pretty good, chilling.
Introduce yourselves,
Thanks
guys.
for having us. I'm Anthony, lead guitarist.
Raul, vocals and guitar.
I'm bass, and I play Jose Rojas.
Who's missing?
I kind of like that.
We're missing Kevin today.
Kevin, the drummer,
drummer, yeah.
How long you guys been together?
Oh shit! On and off.
Jose's been my boyfriend for like maybe about 4 years, but we've
On
been
and
in a
off
band
4
for like
years.
4 or something around.
You guys
6
make a
maybe?
cute couple, man.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Hey, you should see him when he grows his beard. He's cuter like that.
What, are you guys fighting because you guys are not sitting together right now?
Yeah, Raul's
We don't
kind
want to
of-
bring that up right now.
So, Raul, are you like the marriage counselor in the middle of this? all this?
I'm the peacemaker. I try
That's
to
right.
try to make sure everyone keeps the peace here.
Hell
No,
yeah.
we started playing together probably back in like I think 2011, 2012, around that time, and the band actually got put together by my brother Sneaky. He's a rapper, hip hop artist, and he wanted to do. He had a concept album that he wanted to do with a live band, and so Kevin and I were already playing in a band together. So he recruited the both of us. He went to school with Jose, brought Jose in the mix, and Anthony. We've known him. He's been a childhood friend. So he brought him into the mix and put us all together in the same room, and we cranked out 10 songs for his album.
Oh, wow.
And it was a really good experience, and that's kind of how we all started playing together.
So how's that dynamic work?
It works really well. I think everyone just kind of brings something to the table. Everyone's influences and backgrounds are just a little bit different. So their style, their approach.
Yeah, we all leaned on each other's expertise. Like Sneaky knew when he brought us all together that we were that we all had our own areas where we excelled really well. Like he brought me in because the project needed a bass player. Brought Anthony in because they needed a lead, and drummer, air guitar. Everyone else came in because we all had one role. We all had a supportive role to do, and I guess Sneaky confided in all of us. So like I can trust you guys to do the right things for this part. Yeah.
Yeah, we actually had another bass player before him. And I remember the day he like I met him, they brought him to the studio. He's like, "Hey, I'll do anything I can to help you guys out." And I didn't know what was going on yet. So I was like, "Dude, just promote the band. We need fans." And then Shniki's like, "Dude, this is a new bass player." I was like, "Oh shit, my bad, dog." Oops.
But still promote the fans.
Promote the band. We need more fans, dog.
By the way, we're gonna use another bass player, but please continue.
Yeah.
So, wait, who was it?
But I don't want to say his name.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The unknown bass player.
Or her name.
Her name, yeah.
Okay.
Oh man.
No, it was a he, but he
What kind of music do you guys play? What do you guys consider
Describe your
yourselves?
style.
Oh shit.
So honestly, I would just call it rock.
Just straight out
Just
rock.
straight out rock. I mean,
Some
I know there's
some
different.
indie,
I know there's different, categories and subgenres of that. But I think because of how we're influenced and just the way that our approach is from one song to the next, like it varies quite a bit, and there's no just clear cut as far as like being punk or metal or any specific subgenre. So it's just rock music.
Yeah, there's a bit of a blend when it comes to genres with our music. I mean, we have that smooth song. Remember that? It's all R&B and nice bluesy and jazzy stuff, and then the next song is like all pop slap funk, and then it just chills out again, and it comes back up and down. These are just the sounds of HP.
Yeah, but I do hear the hip hop background though.
Yeah.
I could hear it. The
Yeah.
first song I heard,
I'm like, okay.
That's a very natural, that's a very natural state for us to fall into. We're very comfortable performing and writing songs that can be used in hip hop, and like they have a very R&B influence to them.
Yeah. See, you hit the nail right on the head when you said it's HP, because that's a sound of HP.
That's
Everybody
right.
has different variances, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Did HP start skacore?
What? Really?
No, I'm just asking. Because that's kind of like where I first heard it, like from HP South area.
I think
it had
the southeast region.
Yeah.
Just that kind of area in general.
Huntington Park had its hand in starting skacore, gangster grind, and all the the powerful death metal alongside South Central.
Yeah.
So, but Huntington Park is where all the kids lived, and South Central is where all the kids gigged.
Yeah.
So I guess you're kind of right.
Absolutely, I would believe that. That's pretty.
Yeah. A lot of the
easy to
styles you hear coming out are from HP, dude.
Yeah.
At least HP influence in some kind of way or another.
That's right. In HP, you do get a conglomerate of these different genres that are
Yep.
coming together. We all grow up with different influences, and these influences vary from someone else because, like you said, the kids are in HP, and they go to gigs and everywhere outside of HP.
Yeah.
So when you come back home, it's I went to a gig out in South Central, I went to a gig out in Riverside, and they come back here I heard this stuff and that stuff. Let's bring that shit together.
What I think it was all the gangster cars passing by, thumping their shit, and at the same time, the Ice Cream Man
And La
passing by.
Pacific.
That's how you make some music, dude.
You know what? And
That's a very interesting blend right there. That's a very interesting sound.
Think about when you're walking down the street anywhere in HP, you're gonna get different fucking
No,
music from
yeah.
each house.
You know what's funny about that is I work from home, so I'm on conference calls throughout the day, and sometimes people just trip out when they hear that ice cream truck just
Yeah.
coming by, or the paleta man. They're like, "What are those bells?" I'm like, "Mommy!"
It's funny.
That's all you hear in the
horn?
background is a little kids
Yeah.
running.
you hear the zapatero?
That's that guy.
That guy comes through down my block.
Hey, what about the elote?
Elotes.
Champurrado.
You don't understand
Sundays
how
with
much I
tamales
miss
and all
that
that
here.
shit.
Yeah.
And it's
I
5 in
miss
the
that
morning.
here.
Yep.
That was the hardest thing when I moved out of HP, not having that stuff come to you. Like the
Yeah.
queso guy, the fucking elotes, the ice cream truck right here, fucking
Just jazz
flies by,
band.
dude. Like, dude, come on, man.
Dude, I
Excuse
remember
me?
they used to just walk around with pizzas before. On
Oh
the block.
yeah, you're
yeah,
right.
yeah.
You're
Yeah,
right.
Pizzas already made. They would walk to your house and knock like, "Hey, you want a pizza?"
You're right. And
$5.
they were actually really good pizzas.
I used to think they used to jack the homie from down the street and then just came to your house and somebody jacked the pizza. You want something? What's up? $5. Oh, shit.
So let's get back to you guys. Midnight Motives. I heard the songs you have on your website.
Really? Which one did you like?
Two Hookers from San Francisco.
Hell
I really
yeah.
dug that song.
I really
All
like
right,
it too.
that
one
song
was
is
really
actually based on a true story.
good. Oh shit.
Yeah.
All right, so it's kind of, I kind of wrote like a little melody, and it took off. And when I came back, these guys had the song already done, and I was like, dude, this is nowhere near the direction I was going with it, but it was cool. So when I went out to San Francisco, I went out there for a job.
And Two Hookers.
No,
It's like, dude, I got a Two Hookers and a job. Check that out, dude.
we actually went up to like wine country, but on the way back, we stopped by San Francisco.
And
We're
when he
like,
says
what-
we, we're the band's
Not the
involved.
band,
It's
the people I was
just
working
people
with.
he's working with.
So
The record.
we stopped in San Francisco. We're like in the downtown area, and we asked this homeless dude, like, "Hey, there's any strip clubs around here?" He's like, "You go straight, you're gonna make a right, you're gonna see a gap, and then you go straight, and you're gonna see all the strip clubs." And it was like a street full of strip clubs.
Hell yeah.
So it was like 6 or 7 guys. We're all in the strip club, we're partying, and one of the guys, I guess the strippers were not enough, so somehow he wound up with 2 hookers in San Francisco. So we met this dude. This dude was he's an architect, and he brought out like this huge bag of coke. He's like, "You guys want to party?" And we're like, "I don't know, this guy's kind of weird, And he's all like, "Come back, I'm gonna rent a hotel. You guys could just come and watch some fucking football and do some rails." And I was like, it was a crazy trip, dude. Yeah, and I was like, "What's going on?"
Strangers are so nice in San Francisco.
Yeah. So
They actually are. They're very nice.
They're
over there.
different. So
Yeah.
different crowd culture. over there.
So one of the guys was shroomed out. He was in his own world, and he's a big dude, And the guy that invited us to the hotel, he was like a little white guy, like old man, So I told him, hey, Brian, come with me, because he's like huge, like in case this guy tries to rape me or something, you know, like
Brian, protect my brother.
yeah. So
You are in San
we took a
Francisco.
taxi back with him because we were driving like those big trucks, you know, because we had shipped stuff out there. Yeah. And we get back to the hotel, and the guy's all like, he goes into the restroom, and we're like looking at each other like, is this guy gonna try to do something? Like, what's going on? And then he comes out of the restroom. He's like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Are you guys queer? You're on some fucking football. And we just looked at each other like, what the hell? Yeah, he was on another level.
Obviously, you don't know cocaine, Eddie.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was some good coke.
So he told me, he's like, I work Monday through Friday. My wife doesn't let me do anything, but on Sundays, she lets me just party. I rent a hotel every time. I just watch football and I bust coke all night. And I was like, oh, fuck. Yeah, so yeah, that's what he would do on Sundays.
See, that explains the change in mood from going to the restroom and then coming back out.
Yeah.
He was doing cocaine in there.
Nonstop.
That's a good.
Yeah.
That's a
So-
good marriage.
So then,
Wonder what the wife is doing.
so then we go ahead and we call up the rest of the crew, and we're like, hey, we're here. This is the address for the hotel. And they're like, all right, we'll show up right now. So they show up with 2 hookers, and they walk into the room, and the guys are like, what the fuck? Who the fuck are these bitches, you know? And then one of my friends is all like, dude, I told this guy not to bring them. And then that guy, he took off to go talk on the phone with his girlfriend, and he left us with the hookers. So we're like, what do we do? Like, I don't want these hookers. Nobody wanted the hookers. The guy who ordered them took off.
Yeah, they're that bad.
Hey, were they paid for it?
Dude, one of them had like 1 tooth. Like,
Oh shit!
you know,
Straight,
and
straight tweaker status.
yeah, and so the girls are like, I don't give a fuck. Somebody's gonna have to pay us, or we're gonna call our boyfriends.
Oh hell yeah.
So we all look at each other and we're like, what do we do? And one of the guys from the crew, he's all like, well, I'll give you the money, but what are you gonna do? Yeah. So this guy goes into the restroom with the 2 hookers, and they start taking a shower with that guy. And then another one of the crew members goes in there, and he's jerking off watching that. Yeah, it was, dude. And I was like, what are you guys doing in there?
Oh shit!
Yeah, so I was like, what are you guys doing in there? And they're like, hey, don't come in. I was like, dude, I don't want to go in. After I heard what was going on in there, I was like, I don't want to go in. So when I came back, I told them, hey, I have this story about 2 hookers in San Francisco. And somehow that wound up being the concept, you know?
And I think, so.
That's fucking badass.
It was a crazy story, man.
Sometimes what happens, and maybe you guys as artists can kind of, relate. You give a song a working title because you don't know what to call it. You're like, well, if we're gonna just call this song 2 Hookers in San Francisco because he told us this story, and we're working on this new jam. So all right, that's the working title, and it stuck. Like, I actually sort of took what he told us and wrote a song about it.
Nice.
And that became what it was,
But there's no mention of the guy jerking off. And
No.
That's a little too
I was
late.
gonna ask, how does that guy
X-rated.
jacking off
Okay, so
translate
this
would be the
lyrically?
video.
This is what happened. I wasn't there, but I know what happened.
This is the inside scoop. Like, you know?
Okay. So check it out. So one guy got an STD, and the other guy got shame.
I don't think any of them actually like hooked up with the girls.
They just showered, and the guy was just like, "Oh my god!"
Like they probably jerked them off or
Rub
something.
his
But
back!
that was it.
Scrub his back.
And the funny part was when the hookers left,
Wash behind his ears.
when the hookers left, the guy that was jerking off watching them, they're like, your friend's weird. Why was he in there jerking off watching us? Dude, and then, all right, after that, the hookers take off, and the guy that invited us to the hotel room, he was just pacing about the room, like acting weird, like, pretty crazy.
Some good coke.
Pretty normal
And
for a guy on coke.
Smoking weed nonstop too. So then he's like, hey guys, I'm gonna take off at 5 a.m. and you guys can keep the room. Just don't mess it up. Check out, turn in the key, whatever. And we're like, fine. Check out time 11, so we're there. He never leaves. He stays there. It's like 5 and we're like counting down. We're trying to go to sleep, but we don't know if he's like an axe murderer or something. And, so we're all sleeping with one eye open. And I look over to because we're all like, they had 2 beds. So like all the crew, we like just huddled up on the beds. And I look over and I'm like, hey,
Covering
dude.
your butthole.
I look over like at the next bed, and it was my friend that worked with me in the company. And I was like, hey, dude, where the fuck is this guy at? He's like, I seen him go in the bathroom like a long time ago, like an hour ago. So we go check on him. He's asleep in the bathtub. That's they just jerked off in. Yeah, with two hookers. And I was like, what the hell's going on with this dude? So we tell him, hey, we're going to take off. And he got pissed off. He's like, you guys are leaving? And we're like, yeah, we got a long trip back to LA. He's like, nah, just stay a little bit. I'm going to go grab some beer. So we chill a little bit. And then he's all like, hey, anybody, I'm going to go to the donut shop. You want some donuts, some coffee? And one guy goes, I'll take a donut and a coffee. and he's all like, hey. So his reply to that, when he offered, he was like, man, fuck you. We're drinking beer. Like, why would he even offer, Like,
dude, that's the next song. Donuts and coffee. Donuts and beer.
Donuts and beer.
Donuts and beer.
Donuts and beer.
It is
Fuck
the
that,
next
we're
single.
drinking beer.
Next single right there. Right?
Cocaine
Hey,
and masturbating in the shower.
So he took off to go get the donuts and beer. And we're like watching, we're looking through the window, like, all right, he's getting kind of far. And we all just run the hell out of that room, dude.
Shit.
We're like, before he gets back. And he was coming back and he seen us. He's like, hey, he was like chasing us. Like,
A bunch of beer.
dude, he was like, hey, like, why are you leaving? And we ran back to the trucks and we just booked it, dude. Yeah. I don't know. It was a
Good
crazy
times.
experience.
Dude, that has to be the video.
Yeah.
So nobody got raped, right?
I don't know, man. I know I didn't, like, for a fact, but I don't know about the rest. Some guy was on mushrooms, so I don't know.
He probably got raped.
His
then,
perception might have been a bit off.
Yeah.
So
So that's how you guys write music.
That's the backstory to that song, and that's kind of what, and I think that's sort of where the approach in how we write some things. We were actually talking about this on our way over. I think take our art seriously, but we don't take ourselves very serious when we actually write some of the stuff, right? So there's a song on the album too, again given a working title, Picoso, just because the bass line was so funky. He's like, oh, this bass line is Picoso. That's what he said. I'm like, all right, fuck it, the song's called Picoso now. So working title Picoso, and I'm getting ready to just start writing the lyrics, and I'm thinking like, what would I classify as that? And to me, the first, not really the first thing that came to mind, but I made that relation kind of on a creative standpoint with that moment, that oh shit moment that you have when you say something and you fucking hear yourself say it, and then you're just like, oh, why did I say that? And you can't take it back, and that knot in your stomach, and it just, like, essentially you burn yourself, right? Like you put your foot in your mouth. And that's what that song's about. It's just a quick, short, funky,
song about regret.
Upbeat tune about regret, yeah. And about having to savor the shit you stepped in, right? Like that's
probably like the Clika Podcast anthem. Because we say some shit, we're like, fuck, man.
I think you just basically subbed up the description to the entire fucking podcast.
Yeah,
So
we call each other next day.
That's why this podcast is Picoso, right?
Hell yeah.
It's just like, oh.
actually talking about that, I think you need to delete half the shit I said earlier. I don't want to be like, responsible for whoever finds out, because they're gonna know, hey, that dude was in San Francisco. Is he the one that was jerking off in the shower?
That could have been so many people.
You just burn yourself. Is what you're saying.
Hey, what if the guy actually listened to this podcast?
The guy, he's gonna find us. He's gonna bust cocaine and run all the way over here from San Francisco with donuts and beer. He'll find us.
They're still in the trunk.
Yeah,
To verify the story that way, dude.
Yeah.
He becomes a podcaster. He just likes us so much.
Hey, Sunday cokehead. If you're listening, give us a call.
And bring some donuts.
Just reach out to us on our website about it.
Yeah, I forgot your name, but you had a giant bag of cocaine stuffed in your boot.
There it is.
What kind of boots?
What kind of boots?
I don't even remember, man.
Like cowboy boots or like Docs or?
Nah, they were
Timberlands?
swap meet. They're kind of like the Italian boots,
Oh damn!
Damn.
Yeah.
And he just had like a baggie. Like,
He had the cocaine
he was
boots on.
fancy.
stuffed
The
on the
cocaine
side.
boots.
The cocaine boots.
He had it on the heel.
Oh yeah,
He
those.
turned the heel over, and that's where he hit him.
just on the side like that. And he's like, "Hey, you guys do coke?" And we're like, "What?" He just pulls out the bag like nothing, like in the middle of the street, and we're like, "What the fuck? This guy's crazy. I like him."
Dude. Oh man, I could already visualize a video.
Yeah.
A badass video, man. Seriously, you guys should do it.
You know what's funny is that we actually have we only have one idea for one music video that's coming up for one of our songs. Are we allowed to talk about it? Do you guys
Yeah,
wanna
it's just
talk
gonna
about
be
it?
me and Jose hugging.
So yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
With the
So the lights come on. It's me and Anthony staring at each other longingly into each other's eyes, and
Beach
I miss
sunset.
you.
And the guy's jerking up in the background.
Yeah,
Yeah, with
She's
coffee.
watching us, and we're showering.
Scrub his back.
Scrub behind his ears. Bring the donuts and the beers.
Yeah, the twist of the story is me and Anthony are the two hookers.
He just got false teeth put in, but he was the one with the 1 tooth.
I got one little snaggle tooth.
Yeah.
So you were talking about the video?
Yeah, we can't disclose what's gonna be on the video just quite yet.
But what
Okay,
song
right.
is it? What
But
song
we
is it?
do have one music
It's,
video out.
It's for girls with flannels and shorts.
Yeah, that would be
Nice.
Girls with Flannels.
And that's again just to kind of talk more about like the writing process and that song actually was written based off of the idea that the video for a video that
Well, the
Anthony
lyrics.
had.
Oh, okay.
So the lyrics, right? So Anthony came up with the music for the song, and he told me, "Hey, like I have this song, and it was already structured, from start to finish. It was a complete idea." And then he starts telling me, and I have an idea for a music video for this song. And so as he's telling me about how this music video is going to play out, and it's essentially a volatile, fucked up relationship. But
Hey.
but
A little too much info, dog.
no. I'm not. But essentially played out and carried out like in a form of a dance as well, right? So he's telling me this whole story of how this is going to play out, and I'm like listening to him. I'm like, cool. That's what the song is going to be about. So I sort of took my own life experiences and crazy fucked up relationships and wrote the song based on that, telling the story that he told me, right? So it was just like a whole fusion of ideas and inspiration from different places.
So do you write all the songs, or is it all you guys put in work?
Lyrically speaking.
He writes the lyrics.
Yeah.
Like, every lyric is
Raul writes the
Raul,
lyrics.
totally.
Yeah.
So you guys give them fucked up stories and then
it inspires him.
Oh, we can give you some stories, man. We can inspire him, man.
That song "Girls with Flannels" I actually wrote like 6 years before I was even in the band with them.
You wrote the guitar stuff?
I wrote
Yeah.
all the structure and
Yeah.
but when we got into the band, I never found a band I wanted to use it with. But then I got into the band with them. I was like, "Hey, check this out. Do you like it?" And they're like, "Yeah." Like, all right, let's run off of it.
That's nice.
And that music video, like the idea of it, I also had it for like a lot of years, So I shot him the idea, and he was like, "I like it,"
Fuck yeah.
So to this day, it's gonna finally be an actual video.
Who directs your videos?
Well, good question.
It's all kinds of different people.
So for the most part, I mean, they're all so far. The videos have been self-produced, really. Like we'll come up with the ideas, and we've got a couple of for some of the early videos that we did with Sneaky, even those videos back in 2012 that we did were all self-produced, and we worked with small teams. But as of lately, we've been working with the Reinforcements. There's some friends of ours. They also do music and video production. J26 and Marv's. Those guys have a really good eye for what they do, and it's just a really small crew. And so we did a video for In the Clouds, which was the first single off of our album. And that's, again, another video that I had an idea for. And
Is that the video on your website?
that's the video on the website.
That's the
yeah.
one.
Yeah.
That was nice.
Yeah, so that one, I mean, it was self-produced to the point where Anthony came up with the concept for the set with mirrors, and he made it.
I made like a tiny little set,
model.
like a little model with plexiglass, and I welded like a little tiny drum set.
Oh wow.
And
Out
I
of
just
washers.
showed him how it was gonna look, and I was like, I want to make that shit like full size, like 8 feet tall, And then
Why are you so good at that?
because I used to build movie sets.
There you go.
Oh,
So-
nice. Fuck.
Yeah, see that's the idea. You see, like,
Hold it up to the mic so that they can see it.
can you guys see it?
Use washers.
By the power of the podcast.
Oh wow, dude.
So that's the little
Facebook
tiny,
Live,
you know?
Facebook Live, real quick. Hold on, man. Let's do some Facebook Live.
So I just showed him how it was gonna look like it was going on like infinitely, So what I did was I just built it up to scale, full size.
So that's something that's also
awesome,
like
man.
it's very essential to the progress and to the success of this band is that when we get in the studio, like a lot of our ideas and a lot of what we do in the band gets started in the studio. We get into the garage and we just start performing. We just start playing. With some songs start coming together, and then we start feeling the moment of just like, this song is becoming really good. This is a really good song. Everyone feels it. Once we step out, we're having our cigarettes. We're all talking and we're standing outside. We start bouncing off each other. We start bouncing ideas off of each other, and we start feeding into each other's energies of just like, yeah, this song could be about this and that and this and that. Oh, you know what we can do after this? We can also make a music video off of that. And you know what? Yeah, and we have those 5 songs, 6 songs after that. And then we just really start hyping each other up. And one thing that's what I really enjoy about being in this band, being in this
guys
project
feed
with
off
you guys.
each other.
We feed off each other. We're very supportive of each other. and we just continue to like just egg each other on to make
It
sure
has like a really organic feel, like
It
between
does.
us, you know.
yeah, it feels
We
very
vibe
original.
really, really well.
Yeah, we feel something very original coming from all the four of us,
Yeah.
and we all feel responsible for this unit and this entity.
Mm-hmm.
And so, a lot of the projects that we've brought together as a band has been a result of that, just that bond and that let's do it together kind of stuff.
And when you guys write music, is it to appease your audience or is it for you guys?
We have an audience.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Like, who are you writing it for? You writing it for you guys?
I don't even know what we're doing right now. Like,
You got 3 of us right here. Right?
I think it's a combination. I think first and foremost we write it for ourselves, but we keep in mind the potential audience, right? We try to, and I think that's what this project differs from other projects I've done in the past is that we're trying to keep open any avenues for commercializing the music, for it actually being played on some internet radio or something that people can want to listen to, want to dance to even, and have that sort of like approach where people can listen to it.
It translates pretty well, your whole philosophy as a listener.
yeah.
And just hearing the songs yesterday, it's very different. There's a large dynamic in it, and it shows that like a synergy was worked on.
Yeah.
And I totally get what you guys are talking about right now.
It's just because we have like so many influences, We grew up in the 90s, so we have that whole like grunge scene with Nirvana and well, you didn't.
So here's the thing. That's another thing.
He's a baby.
We all come from different backgrounds. Like
Yeah.
we all bring in something different to it.
Yeah,
That
this feels like a
grunge-
paisa right here.
I'm straight up paisa, right? So
Before he started playing with us,
No,
he was
no,
playing
no,
in
no,
norteño
no.
bands.
I was
playing in norteño bands.
yeah. So every like weekend I would go to I would perform like at a quinceañera, bautismo, something like 4 or 5 hours on end, and just play a bunch of corridos, norteños.
Nothing wrong with that, man.
Nothing wrong with that at all.
We're actually want to get a
You are the
corrido
contrero.
band in here.
And that's the thing though. See, for me, that's like completely foreign because to me, I hear that and I'm just like, it doesn't do anything for me. I've got like zero interest
Totally
in that.
fine.
I don't hate it. It is what it is.
I've seen
People
it-
like that, but it just doesn't move me whatsoever.
It depends how much alcohol is in me.
I seen a couple of those norteño bands, like just going to with like friends' parties and whatever. And you want a norteño bass player in your band.
There you go. See,
Your fucking arpeggio game is on one.
you know why? Because tuba players are taking my jobs, man. So I gotta keep up with those motherfuckers.
What are the?
podcast.
I noticed that, since you say
don't
that
tell
though.
Midnight Motors about it.
Since you say that though, like any other style of music you guys got influenced by?
So the grunge rock, we
Yeah.
cover that.
Some indie,
some indie music.
and a lot of my lead guitar is influenced by like David Gilmour from Pink Floyd.
Oh,
He's like one of my main influences. So a lot of that shredding with just that whole delay and spaciness to it. It just came from Pink Floyd.
Any
If
wor-
Pink
any
Floyd was
word?
God, David Gilmour is Jesus.
Yeah.
That's the way I see it.
And
Yes.
Roger Waters is the Holy Spirit.
Yes.
Nah, I don't think.
And
so.
you have the unity, the Trinity of the Father.
And Don Francisco is Moses.
And Walter Mercado's the Virgin Mary. You guys remember that guy?
Hell yeah! That damn man.
It was a guy?
Walter Mercado.
That was a dude?
His name was Walter.
I never knew his name.
Walter
Yeah.
Walter.
Mercado.
I just saw what he looked like, what he dressed, and
Yeah,
the
he
wonderful
looked like a
makeup that he
woman.
applied to himself.
Walter. Why couldn't we change it like Waltari or something like that? Walter.
You know
We
what?
had to keep
He
it.
looks like a well-dressed woman that while walking on Sunday in Pacific, just like shopping. That's what he looked like.
With
He's very
flip-flops.
flamboyant.
With some
La
guaraches.
Pacific on the cruising nights and shit.
Or to walk of shame on Sunday morning.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Going to church.
With that broken heel.
Oh, no.
Jose, you've been there.
any other places like say like world music or any kind of
I
South
mean,
America or any kind of music like that?
I like a lot of like Thai funk. I don't know if you heard of that kind
Holy
of music.
shit! Yeah.
That stuff is badass. Like
Dengue fever?
Dengue Fever. Have you
guy's
heard of
your
that
guy right
band?
here.
They're pretty dope. But Dengue Fever is not.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But they have all these like mixes that come from like Thailand and all that
yeah,
that are
some
like
shit.
songs, interpretations of American music, but it's all funky
Oh my
and
God.
dope, you know?
Oh yeah.
Hey, we gotta represent KJ. He's not here.
Kevin
what is-
Jordan?
Yeah, Kevin Jordan. What is he?
I mean,
I think he just likes like
he likes all kinds of stuff too. I mean, for a while he was all about that Lady Gaga, even, you know.
Oh,
He's just,
no.
you know, but he's a mean drummer though, so he plays some
Yeah.
crazy stuff, you know.
That's right. He's been drumming for like what 20 years now, or maybe plus.
More than that.
More than that. And yeah, and he studied at MI.
MI graduate.
That's right. He always plays with the click track. He's really good at that.
Mhm.
And so like when it comes to the writing process and being in the studio, like a lot of us have, you know, our own influences come into play whenever in the studio. So it's like he's really into I guess the precision and the musicianship that comes with the songs that we write. He's definitely focused on making sure that everything sounds tight, clean, on point. Like it sounds like a song, like, and definitely tries really hard to make sure that
to make sure that his drums are interesting. I think that's the biggest thing with him, right? Like he tries to. He's really good about not overplaying. It's really easy for some drummers.
I don't know about that.
Some drummers to overplay, but you know he tries to make that shit tasteful. Really,
Stay in the pocket
some
sometimes.
syncopated.
When it's
I
good,
see-
stay in
I
the
see-
pocket, you know.
I seen him in Orcus. You know,
Yeah. He's
like
nuts,
20 years
dude.
ago,
He's
and
fucking
he was
nuts.
amazing.
Yeah. He tries really hard
He
to
can
be
kick
a
some
good
beats.
drummer, and I think that's the
Dude, I don't even think he
he
tries anymore. He's just
He's a natural,
he's a
dude.
badass. You
He's
know?
a fucking.
It's just
Anybody
natural.
who plays barefooted is a natural, dude.
Dude, he plays in flip flops, comes through like I just walked out.
he
of
does
my
double
house,
bass
yeah.
with his big toe. Just
It's like
just that toe just-
Yeah, that guy's badass, but you know.
he trips me out because, you know, I sometimes he tells me that he's listening to something, and it surprises me, you know, like, and not that it's too, you know, out there, but you know, everything from Tom Petty to Lady Gaga, right? Like he's just kind of across that spectrum, but he'll sit down and play some mean metal drums, you know.
Yeah.
It's just he's all over the spectrum, and I think that's what makes what he brings to the table just so tasteful, right? Is that he's got this broad range of what he listens to and enjoys.
I think as a musician, you have to have a large musical palette, and how else are your influences are ever going to change? How is your playing ever going to change?
That's right.
You know,
Like,
if you're just listening to metal all day and nothing else, you're just going to write the same damn 4 songs all over and over again. But if you're listening to Lady Gaga, you can probably add some of that to your metalness.
Yeah.
Because Jimi Hendrix, his drummer was a big jazz guy, so you can tell in his drumming.
What band was it? Gypsies or The Experience?
The Experience.
Yeah.
He was a huge
I
jazz
experienced
fan,
that.
so you can tell by his jazz playing. Like, well, I mean, it's like, what the fuck is he playing?
Black Sabbath was huge on jazz.
Yeah.
That's right. Tony Iommi. He was. Yeah. I saw Heaven and Hell perform like about 8 years ago.
Damn it.
At the. Yeah, I saw.
I hate you, dude. I hate you.
I saw Ronnie James Dio before. Rest in peace, my brother.
That our little 5-foot Italian friend.
Yes, he. Yeah, and then he had like Tony Iommi had like an 18-minute solo. It was just like it was all blues and jazzy stuff. So it's like a blues jazzy solo on top of like metal music, and that was the most amazing thing I've ever seen. That was a great experience.
Dude, how can you say that? You play with me, dog.
Yeah, but
That's why they're always fighting.
All right. Okay, your job is to make an 8-minute jazzy blues solo.
All right, talking about that. Jose in the band is
Hey,
like
don't point at me with your fingers like that.
See, look. But typically Jose's the nice guy. Raul is like kind of chill but level-minded. KJ, what would you say he is? He's like
He's not
I don't know. You're
KJ's kind of like
describing people, so keep going.
KJ's kind of like he's chill, you know, he's calm and he's really like, you know, he's level-minded too, but myself, I'm the fucking asshole in the band. I'm always the one that stirs shit up till Raul had to say, "Hey dude, we're not talking about shit on, you know, our group text unless we're in person because like shit gets crazy and there's like all these messages, we're just talking shit, you know, but it adds spice to the life, you know."
I mean, first and foremost, trying to come up with any productive or realistic group decision in a group text.
I'm always talking shit, you know.
Happen.
And plus, sarcasm doesn't translate very well.
Exactly.
No. Then
You can't hear tone.
Then people
and all
get
that,
butthurt.
you know?
People get
So it's just
butthurt.
like, what
People
the
get all
fuck?
sad and like,
Why you text me that?
yeah, why do you say that? It's like, well, if I would have told you that to your face, you would have laughed. You know? But now you're over here, your feelings are all hurt and shit.
Yeah. So
Yeah, we're definitely a new generation of musicians. We group text. That's totally brand new, right? Like everyone's doing it.
What the fuck are you talking about?
That's seldom talked about.
It really isn't.
That's seldom talked about. I rarely hear about a band talking about discussing this on a podcast or in any interview. But like,
Dude,
group
fucking the
text-
Rolling Stones are doing that shit.
Yeah, they're
They're doing that right now. Like, can you believe
Yeah.
the guys from the Clika think they're the only ones to do this?
Yeah, for sure, everyone's doing it, but we're the only ones talking about it right now. You heard it live
Exposing-
first on La Clika.
exposing the
Actually,
truth.
we had Steve Soto sitting where you're sitting right now, probably in the same chair from the Adolescents on our last podcast, and I asked him a question that was in a group text about the singer that just passed.
All right, so shut up, Jose.
No. But this is a meta conversation.
But if you want to feel like fucking Marco Polo, then fuck it, dude.
There you go.
You know what?
Yeah.
How about you delete that shit with the adolescents so nobody heard it before? Just that little piece where he was talking about the group text, you know?
No.
We're gonna start off the podcast with him saying that you're the fucking pioneer
Yes.
of that shit. We're gonna say, hey man, this is fucking me right now, you know. Yeah.
Everybody's gonna be like, fuck off.
No, yeah. That's the only way we're gonna stir the pot and just get everyone involved.
All right,
like,
dude.
we did it first. We did it first.
You need to stop taking hints from
Fucking TM.
how I
Well, you know what?
fucking
We're
act.
gonna upload this to TMZ and they're gonna fucking break it.
Yeah.
As long as our name gets thrown into it. By the way, the La Clika and Midnight Motors talk about being the first. They're not the first, right?
Yeah.
But we're the first ones that bring it up.
Well, so we're gonna beat that out. We're like,
Yeah.
we're like Clika and beep Otives. That's all you can hear.
Dude, all we gotta do is like just make a diss track for Eminem and we'll get famous overnight, dog.
There it is.
Right away.
There it is.
Takashi 6ix9ine, whatever, just be like, fuck that fool, whatever. Overnight, we're famous.
On that note,
that's how it works now.
Eminem sucks. I
Yeah.
got $4.
Yeah, there you go. Boom.
I pet
Smoke.
2 ducks,
and I don't give up.
and I don't give a fuck.
Hey, yeah.
Hey, I already got a
Dude,
go.
we're gonna get shot up right now.
No,
Yeah, right through the window, man. You can see.
shout out to Rick Rubin.
Be the first. Be the first snap, or what do you call that? The diss track in Spanish, dude.
All right.
Oh, you know what? You know what? Fucking start a Spanish rock side project and just diss fucking Café de Cuba and all those bands.
Hey, what's her name?
I'm a fucking diss Paquito del Barrio.
There it is.
He's gonna be like, pinche rata de dos patas.
What's the name of our band in Spanish?
Motivos.
Medianoche Motivas or something like
De
that?
Norte. Just put that in the end right there.
That gets you
Motivos
some
del
instant
Norte.
cred right there.
Motivos del Norte. There you
Instant
go.
cred.
There it is,
dude.
Yeah, Motivos del Norte.
We'll put a cowboy hat on Raul and give him a golden AK-47. Just put him on the cover.
This was a Tejana in his car as we speak right now.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Oh, yeah.
That's fucking
Well,
dope.
for the
Yeah.
picture, that's gonna be right.
Dude, I was like, hey, I want to lay down
dope.
in the back seat when we're on the way over here. He's like, nah, dude, my Tejana's back there. Hey, real shit, dog. No lie.
Oh yeah.
Look out the window, dog. You'll probably see that shit right now.
I'll get a
It's
picture
looking
of
at
it.
us right now.
Be back.
Oh, we're taking 5?
Take
Yeah,
5.
let's-
Hey,
Let's
dude.
take 5, but let's introduce one of your songs.
They didn't hook you up with a catheter?
Yeah,
do that,
we'll play.
So
You
what
want-
song are we
What
introducing?
song do you guys want to play?
where's the
the
catheter?
hooker.
Well, you
Two
said we
hookers?
talked about the
Since we
hookers.
talked about 2 hookers, yeah, let's do
Or
two hookers in San
Girls
Francisco.
with flannels, because that video is coming
we'll
next.
come around
Enjoy
to that
2
one.
hookers.
Yeah, 2 hookers.
2 hookers. Now you know the story. Guys jacking off in the showers, and you know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
You
all that.
actually just made that song less interesting for
And
me.
you heard it.
Enjoy it.
I don't know what else to say, don't know what else to do. Been too many sleepless nights now. Though I'm not your only fool, I'm still obsessed with you. So high, I can't seem to come down. Oh, you drive me so insane, I gotta numb my brain to make everything okay now. Though you lead me to my grave, that's the price I gotta pay. You say you're away. trying to get back to you. I'm in love with the abuse. Head is through the noose. I'll hang here till I turn blue. Oh, you drive me so insane. I gotta numb my brain to make everything okay now. Though you lead me to my grave, that's the price I gotta pay. Just stay away. Another day. You're all like rain. Just stay away. Yeah, 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 yeah. Just stay away. Another day. You're all like rain. Just stay away. Yeah, 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 yeah.
What do you guys think of Two Hookers in San Francisco?
That was a great song, wasn't it?
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
I like that one part that you do that thing, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah, you know, actually, on that
That one part,
topic, there's part in the middle. So, again,
Oh, the moaning.
yeah. So
There's a part
on,
I was
on
gonna
that jam,
ask you
you might have heard a little freaky deaky
pretty
going on,
perverted.
but that's really what I did, right, to try and encompass it and really take advantage of the concept and the production control that we have now,
Yeah.
right? So I sampled a porno of these two girls just getting down, and I fucking just
That's what you
dropped it right in there, you know. So hope you
perfect.
hope you enjoyed that. Two
That's
Hookers
kind of
by-
interesting, but let's go on.
Let's,
You guys
let's,
never thought this fucking song was gonna do this.
No, it awoke some fucking demons in this
Parental advisory.
And that's
So you got a one-hit wonder so far on the
pretty much,
podcast.
pretty
Yeah,
much.
and that's what the song is about, right? Like, so when we write, you know, like it's actually I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
I know, what the fuck are you talking about, dog? You've been drinking too many Pepsis. Pepsi, you know. All right, so you guys want to talk about your rigs or what?
Yeah, let's talk about your gear.
We're
What do you
talking
guys?
about gear, huh? Not it.
All right, so what kind of equipment you guys use?
So this is Raul. I'll start. For get my guitar rig, I have a Paul Reed Smith. And for my effects pedal, I've used TC Electronics. It's a G system. Just kind of rewiring, setting some of that stuff up. Picked up a Mission Engineering Expression pedal to allow me just to kind of get more features from that. And then that board is really cool because it allows me to. It's heavy. It's a big ass board, but that's not what makes it cool.
Is it an old like 90s?
No. It's actually like late 2000s.
Okay.
Like it's a multi effects pedal. So
Yeah, I know exactly what it is.
Yeah. So it's got a lot of options, a lot of features in it. And what I like about it is I can go ahead and program it, and that's one of the big differences. Kind of going back to what we bring to the table and sort of how our sound impacts each other. Anthony uses a lot more analog gear, so he's got
I use
individual
nothing but analog.
individual pedals for different things, and I use a lot more multi effects. And for me, that works because I can go ahead and like dial in the sound and hit save, and it's like, yo, I need that sound for that song for that part, and I can just push a button.
So you're like the Blu-ray porno, and he's like the VHS porno.
Yeah. Let's talk about that VHS.
Hey, I mean, you gotta take it back to the roots, you know.
Exactly.
I mean, I just preference. I just like the analog sound to me it sounds more crisp and less like compressed and just. It's
sound.
one pedal just made for one thing, you know.
That's how I am. I'm exactly the same
Analog,
way.
you know.
Yeah.
Nobody cares about you, Chris.
Yeah. You fuck Chris.
What kind of amp do you use?
No, I use a Mesa Boogie triple rectifier, and that's the cool thing that I like about my
Triple rectifier.
about my
Rectify that porn.
Yeah.
my multi effects. My pedal board can control all the channels on my amp. So
Oh damn.
So
So you run it through a effects loop.
So I'm running through effects loop. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. And so for me that works, especially for the two different bands that I play in. Like it allows me to get that range where that third channel is just like fucking heavy and just big, and that middle channel is just like that sort of
Overdrive.
mid-range overdrive distortion that I
Yeah.
could use for hooks or even like little riffs and like licks in between the songs. So
Oh yeah.
it gives me that full range that I need for both projects. So
You know, I think that middle channel on the Mesa Boogie rectifier is the best Marshall 800 overdrive sound you could get on an amp that's not
that's
a Marshall.
not a Marshall. Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
agree with you, and that's what I like. And it's funny that you say that because it gives you three different options. There's a little toggle switch that says, there's a vintage sound.
That's
and then
yeah.
and then that's the one that you're talking about
The
that
Marshall 800.
has that Marshall 800 tone to it. So
Because that's like when it comes to like rock and roll, that's the standard head for Marshalls, the Marshall 800.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
You know, so that's really cool. Fucking, I love Mesa Boogie gear.
I have a question.
Yeah.
For you guys, for both of you, because I'm not too big on. I just started playing with pedals recently, but like, what can you explain the evolution and can you like walk us through like how you came to develop your pedal board and your sound?
Yeah, that's actually a really good question and super interesting. I mean, when I first started playing and getting into pedals and effects, like I gravitated straight towards Tom Morello because that dude was just doing.
He's like, I want a fucking wall.
I want to sound like this
and a
fool. So no.
distortion.
So straight up, just walked into Guitar Center. My mom was like, "All right, like you're gonna want to buy some shit, like whatever you want." And
God, I wish adopt me.
Dude. Honestly,
Hey,
my mom
his mom
is the
adopting
number
us.
one supporter of
Yeah.
everything that we've got
All of
going
us.
on.
Fuck yeah.
in
That's
our-
all.
in
That's
our
the
compound,
band
like-
mom, you know.
Like
Shout
without,
out to Rosa Perez.
yeah, without her support,
That's mama
like
right
everything
there.
that exists and that comes out of that place would not be possible. So,
Yeah.
First couple pedals that I got were a wah pedal, distortion pedal, and delay. The wah and the distortion pedal were crappy. They were like $20, $40 on sale. But that sales guy fucking got that upcharge on that delay pedal.
He fucking saw you coming.
It was an
Wow.
Ibanez delay pedal. He's like, oh, you want to sound like Tom Morello? Here, you need this delay pedal.
Oh, man.
And I didn't even know what the fuck to do with any of this stuff, man. But that's where I kind of got started. And then I started messing with multi-effects and just the concept of being able to, one, save whatever you did, two, have that many options at your disposal is really what got me. I wasn't so much worried about the tone or the sound because I hadn't really developed any of that. And so I think now moving forward, having been really familiarized with multi-effects and whether it sounds processed or not, I feel like I've been able to dial in my tone, knowing that and having come from using some really basic crappy analog stuff to really good multi-effects and just now where I'm comfortable with my rig.
Now, let me ask you a question. When you use the digital effects with something as analog as a tube amp, does that squeeze up your sound at all?
It has the option to do that, and I think that's one of the things that, you know, as you craft your tone, you have to take into consideration, right? Is what that does to you. Because there was, at some point, the way I had my cables run and everything patched in, like I wasn't even getting as much drive and punch from my amp that I should have been, right? So I had to go back and rework some of that. It was just when I had everything hooked up, like my level would drop quite a bit. So
Absolutely.
So I
Some pedals
agree.
are supposed to go before others, you know.
Yeah, and so
There's a
in
little system to it.
in terms of signal flow and what comes first, what comes second, how you patch everything in, that was kind of a learning process, right? At some point I had no idea what I was doing. It was just on the spot trying to figure it out. And I think now, you know, with time and progress, it makes more sense and it sounds better. And I know how to work my stuff. It's so funny because like when his shit's not set up and he picks up my guitar and he's at my board, he's like, yo, what the fuck am I doing?
I hate this shit.
And he just like talk
hate
shit. And going back to the whole like being the first ones to text message ban stuff. If I could go back in time and bring up conversations where I wake up like at 3 o'clock in the morning,
Dude.
and I've got like 15 text messages, and I'm trying to read them with the crust in my eyes, and it's him trying to convince me, yo, you gotta sell your pedal board.
Fuck that.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm like, why would you buy a pedal board that has like 15,000 sounds in it when you know you can buy one that's specifically made for that sound and it's that much better? He's like, fuck you. Like, you know, like,
I mean, and I think that's a great example of as a band and our sound and how we write and the dynamic that we bring to the table. This fool's all the way to one direction. I'm on the opposite side of the spectrum.
Okay.
And it really like fuses together.
And because like to me, like just seeing Mesa Boogie with a digital effects board, I mean, it's like putting a fucking Nissan
engine on a fucking
in a Charger.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, you got to really work your shit. Yeah, as far as using digital effects on a tube amp.
It's
so like going through the effects loop, you're doing it the right way.
Right.
Yeah.
You're doing it the right way. You don't lose such saturation. Your effects are more pronounced, you know, and then you get a thicker, richer sound. And that's tone is everything. Tone is not it's not a destination, it's a journey.
Yeah.
And it's just one
and,
you're
and
on.
that's a great example, right?
That's one thing that
in this short segment we covered where I started at 13 going, yo, I just want something to sound like whoever.
Yeah.
And them selling me a $20 distortion pedal with a $40 wah pedal and a $300 delay pedal, like coming out of a $100 amp, right? You know, so like at some point my tone was just gaga to begin with.
Yeah.
And it's been that whole journey to where I've sold stuff, bought stuff, tried stuff.
Trial and error.
Had to just even, you know, cut out naysayers trying to convince you at 3 o'clock in the morning to sell your gear, you know, like
gotta go analog, man.
So
all the greats use analog.
All right, so this is a good transition over to Tony.
Yeah,
over
the other side, the other side of the spectrum.
Yeah,
okay. So
where did you start off?
Okay,
how'd you get into it and like so on?
Raul and I were like total like polar opposites because when it comes to acoustics, he goes Taylor, I go Martin. You know, when it comes to guitars, he goes PRS, I go Gibson, and Fender. You know, I
fucking love this guy.
My amp is a Fender Twin Reverb.
What are you doing Saturday?
I think I'm hanging out with you, bro.
All right.
Whoa.
So
we can polish guitars.
You know, my amp is I use a Fender Twin just because it has a really clean, like you know, crisp sound. And
solid state or tube?
It's all tube.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I haven't seen that amp in like a year.
Yeah, because I fucking blew up a tube.
Dang.
And I need a good technician. Anybody on podcast right here listening?
Take it to Divided by 13 or
Are they gonna sponsor us for mentioning?
Yeah, shout out to Eric at Divided by 13.
Okay.
What's up, Eric?
Yeah.
Eric, fix my amp.
They also do mods.
Okay. I don't need mods. I just want it.
Yeah.
OG, you know. So
it just needs to work.
Yeah. So you know, I go analog, like just you know, pedal by pedal, every sound that I want. Like I don't deal with all that, like processors or none of that. You know.
What's your thoughts on boutique pedals?
Really, like I don't think they're worth the money, dog. You know?
Or you just go with the big chain, big box?
They've been making them forever.
Exactly.
Know? And when you've been making a product for so long, you know, you mastered it. You mastered that one sound, and that's why I go analog, because that pedal, say you get a wah, and that wah pedal is just made for one sound. So they dedicated all their time and energy to make that one sound perfect. And that's what I appreciate about analog, you know?
Well, you're going to hate my new Mission Engineering pedal because it's just an expression that's going to control the sounds off my TC.
No, that's cool. I mean, I'm a big fan of TC Electronics. Big fan.
And that's the thing. I feel like at some point,
yeah, we're polar opposites, like I said.
Yeah,
like, you know.
Yeah. At some point, when you bring in low budget multi effects, I can totally see it, and not so much that. Like and I'm not basing the quality of gear on the price, but there's some correlation in between what you kind of, you know. I feel like we said it at some point. You get what you pay for, right?
Yeah. You do. I mean, good gear isn't cheap, and cheap gear isn't good.
Unless it's a $6 fine.
I think we're talking about tattoos. I think
tattoos,
that's where that came
painting
from.
cars, it's all the same.
Yeah. Unless it's a $6 come up at a thrift store.
Yeah,
that's a great story for another time.
for another time. But yeah,
Next podcast.
Next podcast.
Fuck it, just say no, man.
No, well, I scored a fucking like a $300-400 delay pedal at a fucking thrift shop in Mammoth for $6.
Dude, we gotta get out to Mammoth, dog.
Go snowboarding and
that was a mammoth deal.
It was a mammoth deal.
Yeah, so Jose here.
Oh, I don't know shit about gear, man. I just started.
He's like, I just
play.
I just play the strings.
I
and
just play
it
strings,
sounds
man.
like fucking dope and shit. You know?
I was telling Chris out on the hall, and I was telling him that when I started playing bass, I bought when I started playing bass, my mom bought me a starter pack which has like regular
the
like
basic starter pack.
the basic 75 watt.
Comes like
amp.
in a box with the amp and a cable and a
Everything.
strap.
Rockstar in a box.
That's right, Rockstar in a box. That's how I started with, and that amp went to shit for me. It went to shit to me like really early on, and so, but I still wanted to perform and I still wanted to play bass. So all I did was like most Saturday nights, Friday nights, in high school, I wouldn't go out. I would just stay at home and just play bass to myself. I would put on the radio on. I would put my favorite CDs on, and I would play along with it. So the only thing I ever heard from my bass was literally
The
coming out
vibration.
of the bass.
Yeah.
The vibrations, the sound that you would get from a raw bass unplugged.
Yeah.
It's an electric bass, so it's not even an acoustic bass. So like anything. So that's my first experience with tone. It's just the raw tone. I would raw dog it like fucking.
Damn.
Whoa.
I'll raw dog you, dog.
That's my
Playing the bottom bareback.
Yeah.
Bottom
We're
bareback.
back to porn again.
That's
Hey man, this
I
fucking
think
duffel
this
bag
panel
keeps
just
coming
got-
back.
Dude, this is gonna be the porn cast. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
That's it.
We're gonna change the name of the band to Midnight
Wikipedia?
Pornographic.
porn.
like Clika.
Yeah.
Nice.
See, but I think
We need a new logo, man.
Hey, yeah, it's just gonna be a clit, like la colita, and an elote on there.
There's an L and there's an A.
what a league. But that's the tone you want as a bass player. You want that natural tone. That's why.
That's something we got into outside.
Yeah.
It's just like, like what's the best tone the bass player can achieve? Like, honestly, like the most invisible and less
raw.
noticeable you can be. Yeah, that's basically the best tone you can ask for. I just started getting into pedals because these guys were into pedals when I joined this band. I wasn't playing with shit. Like, I didn't have a wah pedal, no equalizer, no distortion, nothing like that. I started playing with these guys. I would just plug right in. And I'd be the only one plugging right into the amp.
And watching these guys spend 45 minutes plugging in all these pedals.
That's right. I'm like,
nah, mine's just all this shit's hooked up already.
I'm
We
just
like,
joking.
I just assume that's like, I always assume that's just the way things are. Guitar players have pedals, bass players don't. And I'm like, all right, that's cool. But then like these guys started suggesting like, and then I also met Greg from Orchest. So I saw his shit looks stacked too, just like everyone else's, and I'm just like, I feel a little bit inadequate right here. I feel like I gotta compensate with something or something.
I coveted his gear for years, dude.
yeah, he has a sick rack like for his bass. Yeah,
He's got an amazing setup, and I don't, and I'm just like starting to question myself. My insecurities flaring out. I was just like, shit,
Am I
man,
a
dude.
real bass player?
am I a real bass player? And so like I started, and then that's when I started getting into music too. That just like had like really distinct tones and like very unique effects that I had like a bass tone to them, and I started exploring and just like going out to Guitar Center, Sam Ash, and just started playing with different pedals, just realizing what kind of tone that I want. Bootsy Collins really reached out to me when it was just like I was listening to stuff and I'm like, that shit sounds really cool. It's just like blah blah blah, electro music too, dubstep, all that stuff. It was just like, oh, the bass doesn't have to sound totally like flat and just very raw tone to it. It could also have a lot of variables to it, and it could have a lot of colors to it. So the first pedal I ever bought was, I pulled it up right here on my phone. The first pedal I ever bought was Electro Harmonix Bass Micro Synth. Yes, and
It's the one with the EQ, right?
that's the one with the EQ. Look at this picture right here.
Jesus Christ, that must have been expensive.
hey, don't be showing them
Fuck.
dick pics, dog.
Oh yeah.
That's the base equivalent of a dick pic right there.
Yeah.
and on that note, like during the recording process, that's one of the things that I really enjoy about working with Jose is that for each song he really tried to dial in a certain tone instead of just
Just playing the same
just
tone.
playing the same tone and just here you go, here's my shit, I'm coming in direct. Like, he really everything from how loud his volume was on his bass to what pickups he was using to the tone of the effects is just really on point.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. And
How do you guys relate all that to when you guys put it down on a track, when you guys are recording?
Oh, good question.
You know, for this album, each song just kind of progressed on its own timeline, and we were not really constricted to any type of timeline. So some songs got started, you know, at one point, and then 6 months later they got finished. And other songs were just more direct. And so I think really trying to find the sound and the tone was part of the process and the organic nature of everything that we were doing. If the tone didn't sound right and the take didn't sound right, it was just, you know,
it was caca.
It was used for reference, but ultimately scrapped until the sound actually got picked up the way that we wanted it to.
Who recorded your music?
I recorded everything, actually.
Nice.
Oh yeah, this is very DIY process of recording.
Yeah.
No, you know what's the best thing to do, because you can always go back and revisit that track you did,
absolutely,
and add to it or take away from it.
It was mastered at Capitol Records,
Nice.
which is like a part of the approach that we took. Right, was, you know, being able to have the space to work in, and to have the resources at our disposal to do the actual recording. You know, we took that on ourselves, but we made it a point to invest in mastering the project the best that we could, and we were able to connect with an engineer over at Capitol Studios, and we went in one day, kind of got the whole process started, and he finished it up for us. And
Do you want to say his name?
Kevin Bartley over at Capitol. He went ahead and mastered this album for us, and
shout out to Kevin.
Yeah.
How long did it take to record?
The entire project really from I mean, it was demoed out early on. There was demos of different songs at different times. So again, there was no real direction for the project when it first started. But I'd say over a span of maybe 2.5 years from when we knew what we were working on till when it was completed. We did all the instrument recording at my studio in Huntington Park. And the vocals, I worked with Damon Real. He's an R&B singer that I've worked with in the past over the years. He's amazing.
Yeah.
And so, you know, by nature and by instinct, based on my influences, they were coming from a really raw rock and roll kind of place. But I was like, no, I need to add some soul. Like, there's got to be more to what I'm coming with. And he was the right person to go ahead and contact and work with, because he's on the opposite side of the spectrum with what he does, as far as, you know, his influences and his experience in R&B, neo soul,
just the
jazz.
delivery he goes with,
the delivery, just like in harmony, he can sing almost every part. So I started working with him. We actually started working with him. We all went to his studio and laid down some stuff, and I thought, okay, I'm going to go in and do it. But it came full circle to where a year later, I was back in the studio singing the first song that I laid down. That was kind of like the framework for me to really learn what I was doing. And because up until this project, I had never really sang in a band or even written lyrics, right? So those 2.5 years kind of covered that whole developmental process.
So you were growing as long as...
Yeah, I was growing with this project, and I was growing with this album.
Yeah, I remember he used to come up to me with a notebook that he just like jot down random words, and like he's like, I like this part, but where I go from there, and then he would like flip the book and like, I like this part, and then he developed that writing where he can actually write lyrics, you know, like it was a whole process, you know.
Did you ever write like poetry or short stories or anything like that? Were you like a writer before this?
I mean, I was really good in my English class, and I felt because that was a class where you could not be right or wrong. It wasn't like math where you either know the answer or you don't know. Like, I could convince this person that, hey, I've got a good point of view, or my story's great, or I can write well, you know. And then there's rules that you can follow, but it's really loosey-goosey as far as whether it's good or bad, you know. And so I always excelled in that class, and I always kind of, and even playing in all the other bands that I was in, and, you know, playing guitar, I felt like I wanted to be a singer, but I never knew what to sing about. And I felt like I was always trying to tell this big story in a small amount of space. And once I came to terms with the fact that, hey, I could just tell a little part of a bigger story, I was able to sort of set the groundwork for a song from start to finish.
Do you want to tell that Disneyland reference for one of our songs?
I mean, we could
do it.
I think I'll kind of start from one spot and
Go ahead.
end somewhere else.
Are we playing another song after this?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, which
yeah.
song do you guys want to talk about?
I don't know.
So I want to talk about praying for ghosts.
Yeah.
And we don't have to go into too deep on this part, but that song was kind of the tipping point for this band. I think up until that point, I had been talking about, I'm going to front this band. I'm going to sing for this band. And we'd been making...
I didn't trust him.
We'd been making music for a while. We'd been making music for a
I'm an
while.
asshole.
But I wasn't a singer yet.
But thanks to that English teacher.
Right now.
So what finally gave you the courage to sing?
It was two things. So thing one...
Alcohol and drugs?
Well,
I think necessity as well.
it was part of it was necessity. Part of it was this project having no direction and not really knowing what we were going to be, but knowing that something was there. At some point, being friends with Eric, whom we all know, I went with him to meet up with the guys from Korn, and we were at the studio. And Monkey was working on a side project at the time called Fear in the Nervous System. And there was this guy who was singing there. And I had a side off, like just a conversation with him in between takes and in between listening to what he was doing. And he told me that he became a singer out of necessity. Because his band had no singer and it was just something that he had to do and that was it. And I'm listening to this guy, I'm like, wow, this guy's good. I would never have thought of that. And so that kind of resonated with me and stuck with me. And so at some point when we were in this place where we had no singer, had no direction, we're kind of trying to figure out what we were, it came back and I was like, okay, I need to fill that role. This is my chance to play with talented people and tell my story and find that voice that I always wanted to and I always kind of felt that I had inside me and really tell my story and have another outlet for my creativity and my art, right? So, and that's where that song Praying from Ghosts kind of came from. I was watching this documentary and somebody said, I wish that I knew there was such that ghosts existed, because then I'd know you'd always be around. And he was talking about someone who had passed away in his life, and that kind of like stuck with me. And I was like, hey, like I wrote that down and I found inspiration in that and was able to put together this song from start to finish. I demoed the whole thing out on my iPad, made a beat, recorded the guitars, wrote the lyrics, sang the hook, and presented it to the guys. And I almost felt like that's when the perception changed as far as like, oh, okay, this guy wants to sing, to like, oh, well,
He's gonna sing.
damn, he's going to sing. Like, he's going to do this shit,
Like,
right?
oh shit,
it.
he's
And
gonna
so-
sing like it's this happening now.
Got the hat.
So what are your thoughts on when you first heard that song?
Anthony, very interesting for the recording process. Tell him what you did. What did you use? Your gear. Kind of circling around back to the gear part. You used the Ebo, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was
I had
very
a lot
interesting.
Of Evo and but when it came to praying for ghosts, like this guy just shot out like a text message, and it was there, and I listened to it and I was like, it sounds good, and I was like, holy shit, I need to start writing more shit and like match this guy. It was kind of like that battle, like
So you had like a little friendly competition going on?
yeah.
So it's a little boost in the butt.
Yeah, so I was like, he wrote something dope. I gotta write something dope too. But when I heard it, I was like, it sounds good. He showed me the concept, and I don't think you had lyrics yet.
I had the hook and maybe like a verse,
Yeah.
but it really wasn't it wasn't even a complete song at that point.
Yeah.
But it was complete enough to where
You can hear the vision.
and it changed the perception of everybody from being just like, oh, he wants to
We're
do this or
always-
he's trying to do this.
That
to
was
like,
essential
yeah,
to
that was essential. And at that point, we had a couple of other demos and other things that we had worked on, but it wasn't until I was able to finish that song that it really sort of changed the direction and made everyone believe and just know that this is where we're going.
Then you got this.
Yeah. Because even up until then, like, I myself didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what I was trying to sound like. What I was going to write about, really. And I think once I came to terms with the fact of, hey, I don't have to tell this whole story and fit everything into this one song. This song can be about an idea or a concept or just this thought. I knew how to write songs.
Yeah.
So what do you find more difficult? Do you find it more difficult at writing a song or writing lyrics to that song?
Well, to me, I think it's kind of the same, right? I think coming up with music and riffs and musical concepts is really easy. I think it's coming up with the words and figuring out what
Like the meaning behind the song.
What the meaning behind the song. And just to kind of go on to that next sort of tangent that Anthony was trying to bring up a while back, there's another song on the album called Souled. Souled. Like your soul, but sold. Mm-hmm. And that came from, of all places, The Little Mermaid. Like,
it's a story about Ariel.
Right, and so I had a mouse pad. I'm in the studio and I'm working on this song, and I have a mouse pad, and it's a Little Mermaid mouse pad. It was my wife's at her desk at work. She brought it home one day, and it just somehow ended up in the studio. And I had this hook, and the hook said, "She sold her soul to get more than she could wish for. She sold it all." That was the hook. That was the hook, but that hook didn't come from anywhere. Mm. And so I'm singing the hook, and like I had that kind of figured out. I knew that's what I wanted to say, but like what else? And so I was able to make a connection from the hook to that movie and sort of write the song based off of that story plot. Mm. So the song starts off, "She, the girl with everything." And that's kind of essentially quoting her because she says that in the movie. And I mean, I'm not really embarrassed to say, but I've seen this movie like a gazillion times and been on this ride at Disneyland like too many times.
Don't worry, I'm embarrassed for you.
You're embarrassed for me? We're all embarrassed here.
Just tell us you're drunk or high, dude.
Lion King 2. If you didn't cry during Lion King, you're not human.
I never watched it.
I didn't cry when Bambi's mom got shot.
Watched it once.
I just wanted some of the meat.
So I'm sorry. Continue.
No. So that's kind of like I was able to find. So I wrote this hook, and I kind of had an idea, and I was able to find inspiration from somewhere else. And I think that's kind of what sort of propelled me throughout this whole process of this album, is that I was able to find inspiration from different things, whether serious or not, whether personal or not. I was able to take ideas that people gave me or that I found from somewhere and put together from start to finish a cohesive. Yeah. A cohesive structure of words that had something to say, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's the one thing that I always looked for, is that I wanted to make sure that I was singing about something that mattered, whether to me or somebody else, or made some kind of sense, right? Like it's so easy to just take words and put them together and say, well, this rhymes with this, so that's my song. And
hell yeah.
And I was trying to just be a little deeper than that, whether it was serious or not. You know?
What was the weirdest one?
Two hookers.
No, that one wasn't even the weirdest one, because from a lyrical.
There's a weirder one.
Yeah. This is Midnight Motives, and this song is called "Sold."
Girl with everything. paid the price, signed the dotted line. Leave it all behind, it's just a goodbye, goodbye. She sold her soul to get more than she could wish for. She sold it her heartbeat for a different world. She's come up from beneath. Clasped with all her might, came up to the light. Things forever right. Clasped with all her might, came up to the light. Here with her soon now. Unfortunate. Sold her soul to get more than she could wish for. She sold it
That was a great song.
I love it.
Damn, that was nice. Man.
Yeah, so you guys have a show coming up.
Yes.
Yeah, we got a show coming up on September 19th at Alex's Bar in Long Beach.
It's right down the
Long
street.
Beach.
And you know what? We're going to be giving away some tickets to that show. And we're going to go ahead and include La Clika Podcast on
Hell
that.
yeah.
It's going to be an Instagram giveaway. So you guys follow La Clika and be sure to share our post. And we're giving away 2 tickets. So you guys may win this if you're listening on Monday. And
We'll
you
take
share
caller
this.
5 right now.
Caller 5 right now. Caller 5.
Wait, Raul.
How many total are we give?
Yeah.
Well, we're giving away 5 pairs of tickets.
And
So
how do
that's
you
10.
win these tickets?
So
But,
it's gonna be an Instagram contest,
Kinda like
if you will.
repost.
Yeah. So it's an Instagram campaign. So by this point, we'd have probably already given away a couple of pairs. But on Monday, when this airs, we will be giving away another set of tickets. So
There it is.
Let me do me a favor. Do me a
Yes.
serious favor. When you go there, ask them where Gabby's painting's at. They're gonna show you and toast to him, because without that, Alex's Bar wouldn't be Alex's Bar.
all right, I'll be sure to ask for Gabby's painting.
Ask for Gabby's painting,
and
Yep.
then toast.
and they're gonna show him and toast to him. He's the man. He's the punk rock matriarch. that
You know
brought
what?
everyone
You know what?
together.
On that note, though, if I don't know what you guys are doing on the 19th, but if you guys are available,
We're
come
there.
Could come down. Your names will be on the
on
guest
out.
list. Your names will be on the
I'll
guest
take
list. I'll tell
pictures for you guys.
All right, there we go.
Hell yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, well,
And then also, where can people find you?
So mainly right now on our website, midnightmotives.com, and on Instagram, Midnight Motives.
How do you spell Midnight Motives?
It's midnight, I think, _motives.
Midnight Motives, not motors.
M-I-I-
Midnight Motives.
Let me look it up.
Motivos.
Yeah.
Remember.
Let's look it up. Let's double
wait,
check.
give me a
Motives,
second
like-
because I don't even know what it really is.
Where did, okay, I'm gonna ask the typical question right now.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna ask the typical radio Kevin Bean question. How did you come up with that name?
So, you want to tell a story?
What were we before?
I mean,
Midnight?
it's really it's a pretty straightforward kind of thing. We were called the Los Guys before.
Yeah, I hated that fucking name,
Fucking
dude.
This
coolest name I've ever
this
heard.
No,
one-
every
See,
single
hold on,
time.
Hold on. Did Kevin come up with that name?
No. It actually started off as a joke. Again, going back to us
And it
not taking
sounded like a
ourselves
joke.
very seriously. It came up as a joke. We took it. We ran with it. I mean, with some opposition, of course.
Yeah, me, the dick.
Yeah,
you know?
the asshole in the band. You know, everybody else was like,
fucking
"Yeah,
hated
cool, we're
telling
playing
people
music."
that's my band's name.
And it was
Los guys.
and it
They'll
was
be like the Los Gays.
it was met with
You know?
it was met with mixed reactions. Some people were about it, some people were not about it. But you know, I think it kind of came to the point where, again, finding our identity. Right, once we did Shniki's project, you know, on that album we're the Shniki and the Los Guys, right? So coming out of that project, when we were trying to reestablish ourselves and figure out what we were going to do, we came to the consensus, we need a new name.
Mm-hmm.
And we got together one night with the plan of we're gonna find a new name for
But
this
dude,
band.
before that,
it was some group. It was some group
it was
text.
a group
It was
text with
group
like
text bullshit.
hundreds and hundreds of names, and nobody was
none
like,
of
"Nah, that
them
shit
was serious.
sucks.
It
That
was-
sucks." Everything everybody
was
threw out,
garbage,
that's
garbage.
garbage. Fuck that. Like, oh fuck, that's horrible.
How come you guys didn't go with Los Pacifics?
Nah.
No one.
Los Gallos Heroes.
Los Gallos Heroes.
Our
Yeah.
buena, bonita, y cheap.
Yeah. Hey, that shit. That was a cool thrift store, man.
Los Tres Hermanos y el drummer.
Yeah.
But
Tacos Mexico.
For that reason, though, no one was being serious, right? And so we
Yeah.
got into the room one night and we're like, we're gonna pick this new name.
Yeah.
And I kid you not, it was the first name we
quick.
wrote at the very top of the notebook, Midnight Motives, and it was just like,
Yeah.
that
Well,
sounds tight.
basically, it represents, at midnight. That's when you get kind of tipsy and you start doing stupid shit. Like that wee hour of midnight influences, like to do like crazy shit. You're faded. You do like make mistakes, sleep with people, like
Write music.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of the
Write
times what
music.
I would do was write music all night. This fool would call me up and be like, "Dude, you're still in the studio? It's like 4 in the fucking morning." And I'm still in there.
Or I'd get a text message at 4 in
Yeah,
the morning.
I just
go,
wrote
check
this
out
fucking
this song I
song.
wrote.
Yeah.
You know?
All right, another thing that kind of like changed shit around. I don't know how long ago it was, but he bought me a loop station for Christmas.
Oh shit.
I don't know where he's like, "Here, bro," and he gave me like a gift, and I was like, "Oh shit, I feel like a shitty friend. I didn't get him anything." He's like, because our birthdays are like, right? I'm November 12th, and he's the 16th.
Yeah,
So it's like, and we're both 84. We're like, I don't know, we're kind of like
we're
the
just
same person.
we're days apart. We're
Old
days
as
apart.
fuck.
Yeah. So he's all like, it was December, he's like, all right, this is like your Christmas / birthday. And I was like, fuck, I didn't get him anything. What a dickhead,
Once again.
So, but that pedal changed a lot of shit because with that, it helped me make so much music because I was looping stuff and just like, it has like drum beats.
It was
in
like
there.
it was like a recording studio on his pedal board.
Yeah.
And I thought of that because I saw what he was doing with his delay pedal.
Yeah, I would do it with the delay.
He would just turn the delay to the max to the point where he's playing, and now the delay is essentially looping itself.
Mm-hmm.
And it would eventually get off time and not
Yeah,
be.
it'd fuck
And
up.
so that's when I was just like,
Yeah.
I need to get this fool some shit because he's just he can make stuff up all day, and at least this allows him to press save and move on to the next.
Hey, that's a
one.
digital pedal, by the way.
Hey, bro, that's
But
it was given to me. It was given.
Throwing it out there.
Hey, it was given to me by him.
Oh yeah, and by the way, my birthday is October 28th, and I don't have a 59 Martin yet.
Too bad, bro.
Hey, going back to that delay pedal,
Yeah.
it's hooked up in an analog configuration.
Oh,
Hey,
Dun dun dun.
it has true bypass, and I don't use it when we play. I only use it to record and make up ideas. So there goes that.
Sure.
So I don't use it when we
rest.
play. So okay, back to that. This guy, he got married and he took off to Hawaii.
Actually, it was Aruba.
Aruba, whatever, fuck Hawaii,
Some beach.
Hawaii,
Some beach
some
somewhere.
bitch, whatever.
He went with some bitch somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere, whatever.
I love you, wife.
And so this
Shout out to
guy took off, and like him and I, like we're close friends. So like it'll be times where we don't practice or whatever, we don't meet up for a while, and like he'll hit me up. He's like, "Hey dog, how you been? I miss you." I'm like, "I miss you too,
feel
bro."
that void. We feel that void for sure.
Like we've been close, and so he took off, on his honeymoon, and I was at the studio alone, and I was there having those midnight motives. So I wrote a song about that feeling I felt of him being gone, and that became Together Tonight.
Yeah, and that song was just again a little drum loop beat.
Yeah,
with him playing guitar and bass and just
And the
just
ebos
ebos
and-
and just layering stuff. And
The
he sent
bass, everything.
He sent it
complete.
to me, and when I came back, he was like, "Yo, I got these 10 ideas." And I'm like, "I don't give a fuck about those 10 ideas. That one idea you sent me, that's the idea." And so again, kind of taking inspiration from life experiences and being able to tell just a small piece of my story.
Yeah.
You know, I wrote that song called "Together Tonight," and you know, my brother and I shared rooms when we were younger, and he used to have these nightmares. And so I wrote this song about him waking up and me waking up to find him having this nightmare and what it was like for me to, you know, try to hold him and stop him
And be there for him.
be there for him,
Yeah.
right? And that just sort of expanded into this song where I took that concept of being there for him, but generalized it a bit to encompass other people's story and just being there for someone tonight, you know. Like
Dude, you're a
in
natural
this
songwriter.
moment, in this moment.
Really, huh?
And it took me a while to really find that and know and thank you for saying that, man. Like,
Are you an artist?
Because I'm a writer. I'm a writer by not by choice, but by just fucking, you know, I have to do
writer who can't spell for shit.
Ride or die.
Hey, are
eat
you
a dick. But what I'm saying is this: it took me 30 years for what took you only a few years to accomplish. To just speak to your audience, to speak to people. I mean, I haven't even heard these lyrics, but the way you set up the song, that's what I've been searching for 30 years.
Just look into your own life to get inspired.
Oh no, of course, yeah, but you know, like that can't be taught in any fucking university, and that can't be taught in any school, which you just fucking know right now.
It's like street smart.
So accept that.
Thank you, man. Thank you. And really, and that's just kind of it was one of those things where once something just clicks for you and you realize, hey, I don't have to try to fit all of this stuff into this. I can just talk about an idea or a concept or a feeling.
A snapshot.
Like instead
Just
of showing
this
the whole movie,
moment.
it's like the preview, the trailer, you know.
Yeah.
And that's when I was really able to say, hey, okay, I can write this now. Now it makes sense. I gave myself a space to work in, right?
Yeah.
And
Do you ever? Are you also visual artist or just writing? Because I noticed that I listen to your songs, man, and I visualize a lot of things. So I was wondering if you ever.
How much have you been smoking?
The fifth. But no, because I'm myself. I'm a painter, right? So I visualize a lot of songs when I'm hearing them. You know, so sometimes I get inspired to write a song. I mean, paint something based on the song. So I'm just wondering if you have any visual.
I mean,
creativity.
I am for sure, and I think so. But you know, mostly because I enjoy it and I love it. And
okay.
and
So you don't paint? Like you don't draw paint?
I do on my iPad.
Oh, okay.
Which sounds really disconnected because I wish I made the time to like get paintbrushes and paint and make a mess and do it in that fashion. But you know, I got this really cool app and a stylus and I doodle and I draw shit and I do website stuff and graphic stuff.
So it's actually
You're very much a visual artist.
Yeah.
I remember that a lot of the ideas that came from In the Clouds were your ideas. And a lot of the shit that we post on Instagram is a lot of the shit that you have in you know, like, remember the last post that we posted up on? It was the fly. Remember that?
And what
I
Instagram
take
post
that
are
picture.
you
He likes
talking
taking
about?
he likes taking pictures of insects, like dead and like just.
I like
weird
taking pictures of
shit,
dead
you know?
stuff. Period.
So that's visual art, man.
No, for sure. I mean,
But what's
it's-
this Instagram you're talking about? Where can people find it?
Midnight Motors.
Midnight Motors. So it's
MID
MID.
GHT. Yeah, midnight.
Okay, so wait, it's midnight
Yeah, MID.
underscore motives.
Yeah, that's right. MID NIGHT underscore.
You'll
Hey,
be able
get
to
this
find
guy a
the link.
dictionary.
We'll have the link underneath
Yeah,
the
I
description.
think so.
spelling bee.
So it's midnight underscore motives.
That's right. Midnight underscore
underscore motives.
motives.
And you guys are playing the
Alex Bar.
The 17th?
19th.
Oh, 19th. My
19th.
bad.
What
I don't
day
even
is
know.
that?
I just
That's
showed
a
up.
Wednesday night.
Next Wednesday.
in Long Beach.
Oh shit! It's next Wednesday already. God damn
You
it!
gonna make it?
Yeah, we
I
gotta
don't know,
practice,
man.
bro.
Are you gonna be ready to play?
gonna be
I'm
ready?
always ready.
Alright.
You know.
So one of the music videos that we have out is called, and it's for one of the singles that we pushed out called "In the Clouds." And when it came to writing the music, there was there was a few ideas that were coming out that we had to address before we started directing and actually started the production of it. It was you gotta help me out on this because I don't know too much. It was
I don't know what you're talking about.
in the clouds. The reason what was the in the clouds? Can we talk about?
I mean, it's essentially the whole concept of that song. Yeah, when I'm not making music, I work in the IT industry. Mm-hmm. Everybody's going to the cloud. This is like revolutionary thing, but in terms of observing it in everyday human behavior, it's like, you know, people check in to check out, right? Mm-hmm. Like you're on your phone, you're connected, you're disconnected, and it's sort of tying those two concepts together and really, you know, telling my story as far as what I see, where we're going, and personally too. Like sometimes I feel like I'm consumed by this shit, and I'm just, you know, I'm physically in one place, but mentally somewhere else, and that's really what that song's about.
Yeah. So a lot of the visual art that we can express in our music comes through our music videos. Whenever like we have an idea, we have a song, we want to recreate it. It's really hard to express in a painting, in a canvas, and so a lot of that just it feels a lot easier for us if we could just like tell a story through a music
visualize
video.
It.
That's right.
So you use your music videos are basically the story of your lyrics.
They're an extension of our songs. That's right.
Which should be.
But
which is missed a lot on a lot of videos. I like.
But with girls with flannels and shorts,
yeah, what
like
is that?
The music video was created before the song concept even was
That's so
done.
funny.
But because the song was written based on the music video, it still gives the end result. I think the only thing that doesn't match in that is the title with the subject matter. But
I mean,
are they cotton
girls
flannel
no, you ever seen like
shorts.
those indie girls with like those flannels and shorts? You know, they look hot, so it was just like, hey, that's a good idea. You know, like
that's a cool title.
Yeah.
I dig your titles. They're cool.
Yeah. So that's what that basically was.
And you can expect that in 2019.
Coming back.
Stay tuned.
All right, guys. Well,
so what's the album called? Let's just get that.
That's another
It's a self-titled
thing.
album.
It's called
Midnight
Visions, actually, not self-titled, Jose.
Oh, okay. My bad.
Dude, are you in the same band as us, or what's going on?
I don't know. It's the group text, man.
Yeah, that fucking GT, man.
The GT, I get lost in there, man. I have no idea what's going
You
on.
gotta learn how to read.
It's a wall of memes, and then some words, and
then
then
dick pics, and
then dick pics,
Yeah.
and then like actual band conversations, and then the rest of it is memes. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I get lost.
That's a good group text right
yeah,
there.
yeah. You know, it's good, dude. Sometimes I wake up and it's like 40 messages. Who the hell? And it's just the band, you know, like.
and it's funny because sometimes I wake up and it's
And
40
it's all me.
messages and it's just
all
Anthony.
me.
It's just Anthony.
Hey, dude,
so-
we
Talking
gotta do
shit.
this and this and this. Fuck you, fuck that. You're cool, fuck that. You know?
all right. So it's the website, Instagram. Do you guys have a Facebook?
No, we don't.
We
That's
actually-
kind of outdated.
No,
I
we
think.
actually do.
We
It's
do.
just-
Who
it's
made
just-
that shit?
You got to check the group text.
Yeah, you
homeboy.
missed the text, man.
All right. What
It's
about
just
a
not- it's just not
MySpace?
very- It's just not very well
MySpace.
kept.
Or Reverb Nation.
Everything
whatever.
online is Midnight Motives.
Yeah, SoundCloud,
MidnightMotives.com.
And YouTube.
YouTube as well.
Yes.
That's right.
Vimeo.
Absolutely.
You guys are on Vimeo.
What are
right?
you guys on
Or Vimeo?
YouTube,
What do you
on
call that?
YouTube.
Vimeo? Is
We're
it-
also on Venmo. If
Yeah,
you guys-
so just send us
okay.
some money.
Send us some
You know?
money so we can afford this next music video.
Perfect.
and some digital pedals for.
Yeah.
Oh,
For
no.
Anthony. Yo, hey, well, thank you guys for having us.
We
man.
appreciate you guys
Yeah,
for
this
coming.
is great.
You guys are now part of the La Clika Podcast
La
family.
Clika.
Any you guys need from
Like-
us, give us a shout out. Let us know. We'll be there.
And like
Definitely.
Clita, you know?
Definitely come through to our. We're gonna play the Alex Bar this Wednesday at September.
19.
What
And
time?
we're-
What time are you guys coming on?
We're going at 10:30.
And we're
We're going
playing
at
with
10:30.
Bullets and Octane, I believe.
Bullets and Octane.
Yeah.
Bullets and Octane. Shout out to Bullets and Octane.
They're gonna kick off their tour. They said so.
Yeah.
We're gonna be
Yeah,
there.
rock and roll.
Come through. If you see us, buy us a beer. Definitely.
And don't mistake them from Arrows and Diesel.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
Actually, Raul likes whiskey, so go ahead and buy him whiskey.
yeah. Roll some whiskey.
Buy him a lot of whiskey because he just polished off a bottle.
I know, man. Where did I go? I wanted some.
Dude.
Right here, skills.
It should
All
have
right.
been you.
All right.
So signing out.
Peace
I'm
out.
Rick.
I'm Chris.
Boggle.
I'm bass.
Raul.
Anthony from Midnight Motives.
And we're La Clika Podcast. We're out.
See ya.
Peace out.
Peace.